Here's another quick video. I'm posting this for my students taking systems and control, but it might be of general use for people. So here's a simple case design that we could easily laser cut from MDF or another sheet material. Already, or rather at the start of doing this drawing, I double click the grid and I set the grid to 4mm, and then I had the grid lock on all the while, so everything, all the spacing that I've done is going to match the thickness of MDF that we typically use in our workshop. So looking at the design, there's the main, that's going to be the top and the bottom of my case. I've got the long side panels, which hopefully you can see these tabs are going to fit into these cutouts here. And then I've got these end panels. Once again, the tabs are going to fit into these slots here. And I could, if I wanted, have had these end panels merely butt up against these long panels. However, I included this part here, this tab here, and so that then extends through this long side panel, goes through this laser cut hole there as well. That's not entirely necessary. If you don't want to include that detail, you don't have to. It adds a little bit to the strength, and I quite like the aesthetic. What else to point out? Let's consider some dimensions then. So internally the box is going to be limited, the way I've drawn it, to 80mm. In other words, these side panels and just these long side panels, they're going to be going into these slots here, so inside I wouldn't be able to fit anything that's greater than 80mm wide. And let's have a horizontal dimension, and 240mm. Now obviously you can customize that to however you like, and the height, the internal height, is going to be determined by this. Okay, so 32mm, and that must match. Let's just get the vertical dimension tool up. That should be exactly the same. That's not the height of the box, it's the internal height of the box. So the height of the box, let's just get rid of some of these. Sorry, the external height of the box is going to be determined by that. So the height is currently 40mm. Now, if for my students with their electronics products, just bear in mind that many of our switches, if you're going to put a switch in the top or the bottom of the case, you're going to find it's really tight if the box is only 40mm high. However, if you put the switches in the long side panels or the end panels, you'll find it much easier. A couple of other things I should probably point out. Let's just get rid of these for the moment. A couple of other things I should point out are that these side and end panels, they are recessed, so they don't go flush up to the side of the large area of the top and bottom of the case. They're inset. Hopefully you can see that that's inset by 8mm. Let's just get that dimension. Okay, they're inset by 8mm, same there as well. And absolutely fine, that still looks quite nice. And the advantage of that as well is that you could, say, round off, or you can radius some of these corners if you wished, and that wouldn't be a problem. In actual fact, it might also be worthwhile pointing out the top and bottom of the case do not have to be rectangles, and they could be massively oversized if you wanted, with some curvy edges or whatever it is you wanted. So yeah, there's lots of potential there for a bit of creativity. Okay, I'll draw this video to a close. If I get a chance, I may post another video showing how we could take this file and we can adapt it to your requirements.